Hi, this is Mike Chambers. I'm the Senior Product Manager for Developer Relations at Apollo. And today we're sitting here with Christian Cantrell, who's also on the Apollo team. Christian, how's it going?
All right.
So why don't you just really quickly tell everybody what you do on the team?
I'm an Apollo application developer, which means I write Apollo applications while the team is developing Apollo, so I can give them feedback on APIs and sort of direct the product as it's being developed in real time.
Right, right. So that's not necessarily just, you don't necessarily build demos. Your job's actually to validate the APIs?
Yeah, it's not really demos. I mean, we use them as demos. Yeah. We actually call them validation apps, so it's to sort of exercise the APIs, but not from a QA perspective. It's to sort of validate them, make sure they're comprehensive, make sure that they allow us to build the types of apps that we want to build. Basically, I'm the client for Apollo.
Right, and so is that mainly Flash apps, Flex apps, or do you also do HTML work?
Both kinds.
Really?
Mostly, I've been working on some Flex apps with some HTML integration, and then in future versions of Apollo, I'll be doing pure, Ajax JavaScript HTML apps.
Yeah, we don't really have the ability yet to do pure Ajax apps.
Right.
We're doing it. That's what we're working on right now.
Right, right.
So cool. So do you have some stuff you've been working on? Can you show us some stuff?
So this is an application that I wrote called Maptacular, and the idea is to try and demonstrate how you can bridge the desktop and the web using Apollo. And this actually does leverage HTML. So what I'm going to do is the application loads Google Maps, and
this is Flash content or HTML?
This is HTML. This is Google Maps right here.
Right.
Just loaded from online. Mm-hmm. And so I use Google Maps all the time. It's great, but the problem with Google Maps is that all my contacts and addresses and stuff are actually on my desktop.
Right, right.
So I wanted to find a way to integrate contact information on my desktop with Google Maps, which is on the web.
Right.
So I wrote this application, and what this does is it parses vCards on my local machine, and it puts them in this nice little tree.
So is that HTML?
This is actually Flash. So this is HTML here, and this is Flash that overlays. And what I can do is I can drag, I can actually drag vCards onto the map, and Google Maps maps them. So this is HTML again. We're back in the HTML world. You can see there's a seamless integration between the two.
Right. So you're actually dragging from the Flex content into the HTML.
Right.
And
exactly.
then it's string.
Exactly.
And then also I noticed when you have the drawer out, you can actually see some transparency. So we're not actually just overlaying the HTML.
Right, right, exactly. So yeah, if you look closely, you can see the map beneath the drawer here, and you can do things like, if you have you have all these addresses, like why can't you map them easily? Why can't you get driving directions between the two? Again, by sort of merging the desktop and the web, you can do those types of things. So if I want to get driving directions between my house, I drag that, and then I drag my work vCard on there, and you can see I have driving directions between the two.
Oh, that's cool. So you could actually, you have another version where you save the image out as a PNG. Also,
yeah, I have another app, that allows you to save the map offline, so you can view it offline. It encodes it as a PNG.
Yeah. How do you actually encode it as a PNG? You don't have to go into too much detail, but
I use an encoder, an open source encoder that is actually part of the open source ActionScript 3 library.
So you do an ActionScript.
I do an ActionScript, yeah. So I grabbed the HTML component, grab the graphics out of it, and encode that.
Oh, cool. And then just write to the file system.
Just write to the file system,
yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah. So that's that app.
How difficult was it to build that?
It wasn't hard. I mean, the hardest part, honestly, was writing the code to parse the vCards.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, really, basically integrating the HTML and the Flash was easy. The app probably took me a week to write, and half of that was spent on parsing vCards because it's an awful spec. So, so here's another app called Assassin, and this is sort of another example.
So I have a quick question for you. So you're in what is this, Flex Builder?
Yeah, so I'm using Flex Builder.
Right. And this is on Mac?
Yep, I'm using a Mac, and I'm running Flex Builder, and I'm able to author and launch Apollo applications.
Right. So this is a beta of Flex Builder with Apollo support.
Yes, right.
I don't think we've shown this too much.
Yeah, everything's all very, very beta here, so
But,
it could crash at any time.
Right, so you're just debugging directly from here, but of course you could package these up and install the apps on your desktop.
Oh yeah, you can actually do that right from the tool. You can generate what are called the air files, and then right from the tool, and it exports them, and double-click and install them on any platform.
Okay, cool.
So, but I prefer the Mac, and now thankfully FlexBuilder supports the Mac. So this is an application, another application that I wrote to try and demonstrate, combining the web and desktop worlds. I have this particular problem where I want to buy things usually before they're available, or get my hands on a PS3 or a Wii, or
right.
Last year was the Xbox 360.
The Xbox, yeah, we put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, so usually I'm writing shell scripts or something to monitor a bunch of shopping sites, and so I thought I'd write a nice app to do it instead. And so what this app does is it lets you browse Amazon, and when you come across a product page, it brings up this little alert at the bottom that says "Add to Watch List."
Right. So how does it? That's Flex content, that Add to Watch List, right?
Yeah, this is Flex content down here. This Add to Watch List little bar. Right. And this is all HTML. I'm actually just loading Amazon right into my Apollo application.
Right. And it's somehow detecting that you're on an Amazon product page.
Right. So what I'm doing is watching the URL, and I can identify the URL as a product page, and I say, okay, well, if it's a product page, let's open up this drawer. Right. And you click on the button here, and now I'm actually using the Amazon APIs.
Their web services?
Yeah, their web service APIs, right, to grab this data here. And so I click on this button, and basically I can monitor various properties of this item. Let's say its availability. This watch is not available, so I'll monitor its availability, and maybe also the number of reviews. I want to see if it gets any more reviews, and I can save that to my watch list. And you can see I'm debugging here also in real time. And now it's added to my watch list. And then I have alerts that tell me when things changed. So I can see when the sales ranking changed for the PS3 and stuff like that.
So can that maybe raise an alert on the OS right now?
It can't do it right now. We just haven't gotten to that point. It certainly will be able to.
Right.
We'll be able to integrate with the system tray on Windows and with the dock on Mac. And we'll have multi-window support. And since you have full transparency, I mean, you could do toasts. You could
Yeah,
you could have a little version of growl, if you're familiar with growl on the Mac. Can just sort of pop something up here and say hey, this item's available.
And could it talk to the server to send you an SMS or an email?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's actually a feature I'd like to put in here. I mean, you can do that now. I mean, that's something we could do now. Yeah.
Cool.
So this was an interesting app, but then we thought well. It's kind of cool that you can embed Amazon right in here, but what if someone's already using Amazon in their browser and they want to watch something and they want to watch it locally on their desktop, right? What would be a better solution to that? Instead of forcing them to use this application as a browser, let's let them use their own browser. So I did another version of the app, and this is called just Amazon Item Watcher, and it's pretty similar interface, although you can see we're missing the Amazon tab here. So there's actually no way to browse Amazon. And what we're going to do is we're going to browse Amazon in our browser, actually, down here. This is on my other screen. So if you wanted to watch for an iPod Nano, you click on that, and you can see this little button appeared called Add to Watch List. And when I click on this button down here, you're going to see the Apollo application actually react to that click and load the iPod item up here.
So wait. So you're in your browser, this Firefox?
Right, this is Firefox down here.
And it's communicating with the app?
It's communicating with my local Apollo application here.
That's cool.
And then I can watch so this is basically the same app that I just showed you, except you can actually browse Amazon the way you always browse it in Firefox or whatever.
Right. And yeah, that's actually something similar to yourminis.com does that. They have a Firefox extension that can inspect all the microdata and feeds in a page, and then add it to your minis.
Right. So that's the way this is being done right now, is with the Firefox extension. Of course, and that's simply because Amazon doesn't have the code in there to communicate with us right now. But you could imagine anybody can have the code in their page that would allow their website to communicate with their desktop version of their application.
Yeah, I guess it should be clear too. This is just an app you're working on. Amazon's not working on this.
No, this is not. No, Amazon's not paying me or anything, unfortunately, or there's no partnership there or anything. This is just, I like to, Amazon's a good place to get Wii's and PS3s and stuff like
Halo
that.
3, I think you can get
Halo 3.
Pre-order Halo 3 now. So.
Yeah.
So cool. That's really cool stuff. I'm just curious. what's your favorite feature so far, favorite thing about Apollo that's been in the builds, not what's coming along, but what's been your favorite part about Apollo or developing for it? Or
well, I mean, as you can see, I really like the HTML part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and as much as I can, I try and incorporate that, because I think what really makes Apollo unique is that it bridges the gap between desktop and the web, and it bridges it in a way that I've never seen it done before. Right. And I've been doing web development for a long time, and this is the first time I've ever been able to click on something in a web page and see my desktop app react to that.
Right, right.
And you can just envision so many uses for this. I mean, a whole new class of application.
Yeah, the cool thing too is like that application is actually built just using web technologies, right? So you don't have to have like a computer science degree to build the desktop app. You just use HTML or Ajax or Flex.
Right, right. So that's why I love Apollo, because, like I said, I mean, I'm a web developer. That's what I've been doing for a very long time, and I'm not particularly interested in traditional desktop development using, you know, C++ or you know, C# or something like that, or Objective C. Right. I like the web technologies. I'm just comfortable with them, and so now I can apply all those skills right to the desktop.
Right. Yeah, and then we should just point out really quickly, like, you're running a Mac, but Apollo's cross-platform, so that exact same app, those same bits, would run on Windows or wherever else Apollo runs.
Yeah, yeah. So you can generate error files. You can export them right from Flex Builder, and that error file will run on Windows as well.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. So, and then one final question is: so we're working on M3 now. HTML is a big thing in there. There's also some other stuff. But what are you most looking forward to? What's the next big thing in Apollo that's going to be implemented that you're looking forward to?
Multi-window support is going to be nice.
Yeah.
As you can see, you know, I'm kind of stuck in this one window.
Right.
And I'd like to be able to do alerts, and I'd like to be able to have multiple windows.
So that's multiple native windows.
Multiple native windows. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You can already do sort of multiple, you know, Flash windows or something if you want, or Flash windows, but native windows. The other thing is script bridging.
Yeah.
So being able to actually to actually have JavaScript and ActionScript talk to each other completely seamlessly. And, you know, we're not talking about external interface or something like that. Right. I mean, actually pass instances of ActionScript objects into JavaScript and vice versa.
That's really cool. It's not, and like you said, it's not just serializing the data back and forth. It's, you have an instance of say a song class in Flash, you pass it into JavaScript. JavaScript can manipulate, but it's the exact same instance.
Right, exactly.
And those events get fired and everything. Yeah.
Right. So these apps are going to get a lot cooler as soon as I have M3.
Yeah, those are the things, actually, script bridging I'm really excited about, but also just top-level HTML apps, which we're adding in this build. So your app doesn't have to be Flash-based. It can be all, you know, just HTML and Ajax. I'm really curious and excited to see what that community and those developers build with it.
Right, yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on some of the Ajax frameworks and building apps like this instead of using Flex, building them in Ajax with Ajax frameworks.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for taking some time to chat with us. Show us this stuff.
Sure.
Show us this stuff.
Sure.